Jack Malcolm, and I want to start off with a question. Who's in charge of your sales education? Now, this may sound a little bit ironic and maybe even self-defeating coming from somebody who makes a living by selling sales training to organizations. But if you're relying on your employer to be your principal source of sales education, you may be in serious trouble. Now, don't get me wrong, you can get a lot of value out of the training that you get, and you can become good at what you do. You can even become very good at what you do. But you can't become exceptional and you can't become great. And the reason is that everybody else is going through the same training as well. So if you want to truly be at the top of your profession, you need to study your profession. When's the last time you read a sales book? Now, if it was recently, don't pat yourself on the back just yet. When's the last time you studied a sales book? When's the last time that you actually took notes, you compared it to other sales books you had read, you went out and tried it, you came back and reread it after you tried it and maybe made some modifications and put your own slant on it? That's what I mean by truly studying a sales book. Now, don't just limit yourself to sales books. When's the last time you read a business book? Or when's the last time you read a book on a topic that expanded your mind and helped you maybe think of a sales opportunity from a fresh angle or bring a new insight to a customer? And finally, the last time you went to sales training, what did you do with the workbook that you use in the training? Did it go on a credenza and gather dust along with all the other dozen others that you've been to? Or did you go out and actually practice the ideas that you learned in a training? It's kind of like a golf lesson. You can take a lesson once and it's going to be totally wasted unless you go out there and you practice it consistently. So what does self-education do for you? Let me just give you an example. Way back in the 1890s, life was very cushy for British officers posted to India. Basically, a little bit of training in the morning, some spit and polish, and then the afternoons were filled with drinking, napping, and then maybe playing polo as it got a little cooler in the evening. Except for one young subaltern who had just graduated from the military academy at Sandhurst and was posted out to India. And he realized that he wanted to make something more out of his life than simply rise through the ranks very slowly. So he wrote to his mother and asked her to send him a ton of books to help further his own education. And while everybody was out doing all those other things, he was reading and he was practicing a course of study and he was learning on his own. And he wasn't exactly a saint himself either. He certainly liked to drink and he was actually one of the best players on his polo team. His name, by the way, was Winston Churchill. The 1890s were a lot slower time than we're facing today. And change is going to come, as the song says. So what you know today is not going to be enough tomorrow. In fact, a lot of what you know is going to be wrong tomorrow. So unless you're constantly taking advantage of opportunities to improve yourself and not relying on somebody else to do it, you're going to fall behind. And as Tom Friedman says, the age of average is over. So I'm going to record a series of videos with suggestions for sales books you might want to read. I'm going to suggest starting out with books that you want to read to improve your face-to-face selling skills, then books that will improve your knowledge of sales approach and process, books that will improve your knowledge of general business, sales management, and so on. But don't just take my word for it. You need to take charge of your own education.